Perabagaran, and I'm going to present the first part of the presentation, which is the introduction. So first, what is LGBT? LGBT is sexually deviant behavior that is carried out by groups of people with different sexual orientation. Next, LGBT consists of 4 categories, which are lesbian, bisexual, gay, and transgender. Lesbian is a group of women who are physically, emotionally, or mentally attracted to other women. Next, gay is a group of men who are physically, emotionally, mentally attracted to other women. So next one is bisexual, which is a group of people who are physically, emotionally, spiritually attracted to other opposite and same sex. And last one will be the transgender, which is a group of people who feel that their gender identity is different from genital and income. Next one is our research study. First is the problem statements. We have 3 problem statements for this research, which are: what are the perspectives of Islam and Buddhism on LGBT rights, and how different they view and interpret these rights. Second will be how does the religion influence the acceptance or rejection of LGBT individuals within different communities and religious denominations. Third will be what are the societal and legal implications of Buddhism and Islam perspective on LGBT rights, and how does this implication differs among these 2 religions. So we also have 3 objectives for this research, which are: analyze the influence of religious beliefs on the cultural acceptance and legal recognition of LGBT rights within the Islamic and Buddhist communities, study the similarities and difference of how LGBT individuals are treated in the Islamic and Buddhist communities, and last will be the studies of finding will provide an insight of changes in each religious community attitudes towards LGBT individuals over the years. Next one in this section is research question. We also have 3 research questions in this research study, which are: does Islam and Buddhism share the perspectives of LGBT rights? How do cultural and societal factors influence LGBT rights in both Islam and Buddhist community? What are the challenges to the LGBT community face to ensure their rights? The last one for me is the significance of the study. The significance of our study is to address critical human rights issues by examining how religious perspectives impact the rights of LGBT individuals. These study findings have global relevance, influencing discussion on LGBT rights in Islam and Buddhism cultural context.
Moving on to literature review, let's talk about the religious perspective on Islam. First of all, Islam has a prohibition on sexual relations outside of marriage. Secondly, ethical and moral standards, where adultery, fornication, and same-sex relationships are all considered moral and ethical violations. And lastly, lesbianism, as adultery, and transgender identities are considered disgraceful acts. So Islam disallows the particular usage of the LGBT term. Moving on, let's talk about the influence on LGBT acceptance. First of all, on Islamic perspective on LGBT acceptance, the consensus that these behaviors are considered sinful and subject to punishment, emphasizing the severity of these stances. Innovations within Islam, the complexity and nuances in Islam believes on non-heterosexual behaviors to be the correct way. And lastly, the rejection of LGBT labels. Islam's general disapproval of non-heterosexual behaviors, while not necessarily condemning these particular individuals involved. Lastly, on the societal and legal implications, stigma still exists against the LGBT community. Even though this stigma exists, the Islamic community still has particular treatment to these individuals, because we believe that Islam is a peaceful religion and respecting the rights of others. Punishments for the same-sex relations in Malaysia from the Sharia court ruling are either jail, caning, fine, or any combination of each punishment, or all 3. And lastly, supporting such acts such as putting up flags associated with the LGBT with the intent is also prohibited and will be punished.
Hi, my name is Jing, so now I will present about the religious perspective towards LGBT in Buddhism. Unlike Islam, Buddhism tends to be more accepting of LGBT because of its core teaching and practices. Firstly, the 4 Noble Truths and Eightfold Path emphasize the importance of intentions in all actions. This means that if one's intention in an activity is good, then the activity is considered morally acceptable. Besides, Buddhism's non-dualistic nature rejects the dichotomies between good and bad. LGBT Buddhists can see their sexuality as just another form of sexuality. Another important perspective from Buddhism is the impermanence teaching. This offers hope for changing societal attitudes towards LGBT. Now let's look at the influence of Buddhism on LGBT acceptance. Some Buddhists are influenced by cultural norms, which make them reject to this context. These diverse religious views have made LGBT issue more complex, with some inclusive and some restrictive interpretations. In addition, some also emphasize the importance of self-compassion in Buddhism, which is to foster personal growth. In short, Buddhism raised some cultural aspect matters where there's a need to consider both religious and cultural factors in the context of LGBT acceptance. So what are the societal and legal implications does Buddhism bring to LGBT communities? Firstly, Buddhist teachings have a growing acceptance and tolerance of LGBT people and their rights. However, prejudice against LGBT rights also exists, and traditional cultural values have resulted from conservative viewpoints. From the perspective of acceptance, we can see that certain Buddhist majority countries tolerate LGBT communities such as Taiwan and Japan, while some are opposed and considering illegal for all LGBT activities such as Burma and Sri Lanka.
Hello, my name is Siti, binti Jailani, and I will talk about research methodology. Our method of analysis is quantitative research. For participants, we aim to engage individuals from Islamic and Buddhist religious background. A total of 34 people balancing 70 and 17 from both religions participate in the study. Next, for data collection, in this study, data collection will be conducted through a survey that will be distributed online to participants. After that, it will be analyzed using a combination of descriptive and inferential statistics. Lastly is limitations. Sample may not be representative of the larger population of religious communities, as participants may have different perspective and experience. Another limitation is that it relies on self-reported data. Participants may not provide accurate or truthful responses due to a variety of factors. Now, I will start the data analysis with the demographic data. For demographic data, we have prepared 5 questions for the respondents. Among the respondents, for age, 79% of the respondents were ages from 18 to 25. Next, we have gender, where 59% were female and 41% were male. For ethnicity, there are 44% Chinese, 41% Malay, 12% others, and 3% Indian respondents. Majority of education level respondents are from bachelor's degree at 82%. Lastly, for religious affiliation, we have a total of 50% Islam and Buddhism respondents.
Hello, my name is Fatin Maisarah, and I'm going to elaborate on data analysis on section A and section B, which is about the understanding perspective of Islam and Buddhism on the LGBT communities. And also, I will touch a little bit about section C on the religious influence to LGBT acceptance. So, starting off with the first three questions, we asked about the intersection of the scriptures with LGBT, their teachings, and their opinion about the support of legal recognition. So, based on the data analysis that we have done, we found that the Muslim communities strongly adhere to strict Islamic doctrines, evidenced with their overwhelming agreements, which is 88% and above, indicating a conservative viewpoint emphasizing the influence Quranic and Hadith interpretations, leading to the limited acceptance of LGBT individuals and also the support legislation aligned with their religious belief. While in Buddhist communities, as we can see, there is a complex landscape of acceptance. This highlights the ongoing conversation between the traditions and also the contemporary openness about them, reflecting a diverse viewpoints and attitudes towards the LGBT individuals' acceptance. On the other hand, the next two questions, we asked about the respondents' opinion about the acceptance of LGBT people in their religious communities and also the thought of engaging dialogues regarding the challenges faced by LGBT people. So based on the data our analyze, Muslim community display a reluctance, evidence the low rating on both questions, showcasing resistance, particularly among elderly. So their perspective stress the need for LGBT people to return to their true identity according with Islamic principles. While in contrast, the Buddhist community showed openness and diverse rating, which reflected a willingness to evolve and actively engage to promote understanding and acceptance towards the diverse sexual orientations and also the gender identities, highlighting a progressive and proactive approach within the Buddhist community. Moving on to the section C, we asked the respondents' experience or witnessing for any discriminations against LGBT individuals based on their religious belief. So more than half of respondents answered yes, which is there is 56%, and also the remaining 44% said no. And then we asked again about the respondents' opinion on the religious belief influence the societal attitudes towards the LGBT people. And this shows a significant majority of respondents, which is the 82%, rates 4 and 5 agreements, which leads to the belief that religious belief have a substantial influence on the societal attitudes towards LGBT individuals. And also, the strong influence is rooted in the respondents' deep religious convictions, aligning the specific teachings on LGBT issues. And then for the remaining 80% answered 3, which we suggest that this is a recognition of a societal diversity and the need for coexistence between the religious belief and various perspectives of LGBT members.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Kamilia and I will be presenting the next part of the data analysis. So, next question is, accepting LGBT individuals within our religious community aligns with the core values of love, tolerance, and understanding that our faith teaches. It's interesting to note that a significant majority of Muslim respondents disagreed with this statement. Islamic beliefs often teach specific views on LGBT issues, which could explain their conservative perspective. In contrast, Buddhist teachings are often seen as more flexible, with fewer explicit prohibitions against homosexuality. This may contribute to their higher agreement with the statement. Our next question was, religious teaching should encourage empathy and understanding even when they conflict with traditional beliefs about sexual orientations and gender identities. This question reflects evolving attitudes towards LGBT rights within religious communities. While some Buddhists have embraced inclusive views over time, most Muslims remain conservative in their beliefs. Moving on to the next question, society should foster an environment where LGBT individuals feel safe, respected, and valued regardless of religious differences. Responses here were influenced by personal beliefs and values. Muslim respondents who disagreed may base their stance on their interpretation of Islamic teachings. Buddhist respondents, on the other hand, demonstrated a high level of agreement, emphasizing the importance of personal values and open-mindedness. We then asked, religious teaching should encourage compassion and empathy towards LGBT individuals, promoting dialogue and understanding within the faith community. Both Muslim and Buddhist communities agree that religious teaching should promote compassion and empathy, highlighting support for understanding and dialogue within religious contexts. The next question was, effort should be made to bridge the gap between the religious beliefs and LGBT acceptance, fostering mutual respect and coexistence within society. So, Muslim respondents strongly disagreed with this statement, citing conflicts with their beliefs. On the other hand, Buddhist respondents strongly agreed, underlining the significance of compassion in Buddhism and its alignment with coexistence for LGBT individuals. We also inquired about LGBT inclusive education. While the majority of Muslim respondents disagreed, Buddhist respondents expressed the importance of early education to promote integration among the younger generation. The question, should laws be enacted to protect LGBT individuals from discrimination in employment, education, and public services, revealed varying responses based on the interpretation of religious texts and cultural factors. Muslim interpretations of religious texts are often viewed as incompatible with LGBT rights. This can lead to a more conservative stance on legal protections for LGBT individuals. Buddhism, with its diverse interpretations, may offer more room for inclusive views, making Buddhist respondents more likely to support legal protection. Finally, our last question for the questionnaire, we asked respondents if they have observed changes in their religious community's attitude towards LGBT individuals over the years. So, most respondents note some changes, while certain Muslim respondents expressed discomfort with this ongoing shift. Some Buddhist respondents maintain a view of equality and respect for all individuals.
As a conclusion, the complex interplay between contemporary human rights, rights, and religious beliefs is underscored by our research with a focus on Malaysian Islamic communities. We reveal the many tensions that might arise from deeply held Islamic beliefs, highlighting the struggle between traditional and modern principles. On the other hand, Buddhism's flexible and non-dualistic character allows for a more welcoming attitude that encourages acceptance of LGBT people. The moral imperative is not only the reason to support LGBT rights, it is also a critical first step towards creating a more just and peaceful society that is consistent with social justice and human rights. Thank you.